Flying can be nerve-wracking, especially when turbulence makes it feel like the whole plane is about to shake apart. But here's the truth. Turbulence isn't nearly as scary as it feels. In this video, we'll break down what turbulence really is, why planes can handle it, and what passengers should know. What is turbulence? Turbulence is one of the most common and misunderstood parts of flying. At its core, turbulence is nothing more than chaotic air movement. Just as the ocean has waves that cause boats to rock, the sky has invisible waves of shifting air currents. These currents form when warm air rises, cold air sinks, or winds collide and change direction. When an airplane flies into one of these irregular patches, passengers feel those bumps and jolts. There are 4 primary types of turbulence. First, thermal turbulence, which occurs when heat from the ground rises and disturbs the air. Second, mechanical turbulence, created when natural features like mountains or even tall buildings disrupt wind flow. Third, frontal turbulence, caused by weather fronts where cold and warm air masses meet. Finally, there's clear air turbulence, the most notorious type because it strikes without warning, often high up near jet streams where planes typically cruise. While turbulence can feel unsettling, it's important to remember it is a completely natural phenomenon. Air is constantly in motion, and turbulence is simply your plane interacting with those shifting forces. It feels bumpy, but it's not a sign that something is wrong with the aircraft. How planes are built to handle it. The key reason turbulence isn't dangerous lies in aircraft engineering. Modern airplanes are designed with strength and flexibility in mind. Unlike what many passengers imagine, planes are not rigid. They're built to bend. The wings, for example, can flex upwards of 20 to 25 feet without sustaining damage. This flexibility allows them to absorb the forces of turbulence instead of breaking under stress. Before an aircraft ever carries passengers, it undergoes extreme testing. Engineers put planes in wind tunnels, subject them to simulated turbulence far stronger than what they'd encounter in real life, and push them to structural limits well beyond normal flying conditions. Every commercial plane you fly on has proven it can withstand far more punishment than a routine flight will ever deliver. The uncomfortable jolts passengers feel inside the cabin might seem dramatic, but to the plane itself, they're minor disturbances. Pilots often say, the aircraft can take more than the passengers can. That means even turbulence that feels violent is still well within the safety envelope of the design. Simply put, turbulence shakes you more than it shakes the plane. The aircraft is built tough, so you can sit back and trust its design. What pilots know that passengers don't. Pilots view turbulence very differently than passengers do. From day one of training, pilots learn how to recognize, anticipate, and respond to bumpy air. They study weather systems, jet streams, and cloud formations so they know where turbulence is most likely to occur. By the time they're flying commercial jets, they've logged thousands of hours mastering how to keep flights smooth and safe. In the cockpit, pilots don't just rely on instinct. They have tools. They receive real-time weather updates, turbulence reports, and radar data. If a plane ahead of them encounters rough air at, say, 34,000 feet, that pilot can immediately notify air traffic control and other aircraft. In response, your pilot might adjust altitude, reroute slightly, or slow down to minimize the effect. And here's the key. When pilots choose not to avoid turbulence, it's because they know it's safe. They understand the limits of the plane and know turbulence won't push it beyond those limits. For pilots, turbulence is just an everyday part of flying, not an emergency. While passengers may grip their seats in fear, pilots remain calm because they have the training, data, and confidence to manage it effectively. Why it feels worse than it is. If turbulence is safe, why does it feel so terrifying? The answer lies in how our bodies and brains react. Inside the cabin, passengers have no control, no visibility, and no way to predict what's coming. That lack of control makes every jolt feel magnified. Our inner ear plays a major role too. This system is responsible for balance, and turbulence throws it into chaos. When the plane drops slightly, your body senses motion that doesn't align with what your eyes see. That mismatch creates a feeling of instability, which your brain interprets as danger, even when there isn't any. Psychology adds another layer. Being thousands of feet above the ground makes people feel vulnerable. On a roller coaster, sudden drops are thrilling because they're expected. On a plane, they're unsettling because we're conditioned to associate air travel with risk. That mental leap convinces many people turbulence is a sign of disaster. The reality is far less dramatic. To the aircraft, turbulence is just a minor shift in airflow. To passengers, it feels like chaos because of how our senses process motion. Knowing this difference can help you stay calm. Turbulence feels scary, but it's not harmful. The real risks. While turbulence itself isn't dangerous to the airplane, there are still risks for people inside the cabin. The most common cause of turbulence-related injuries is passengers or crew not wearing seatbelts. When the plane jolts unexpectedly, unbuckled passengers can be thrown from their seats, hitting the ceiling, aisles, or other people. In fact, the majority of turbulence-related injuries happen to flight attendants, since they spend much of the flight walking the aisles. That's why airlines strongly encourage everyone to remain seated and buckled whenever possible, even if the seatbelt sign is off. The turbulence itself isn't the problem. The danger comes from people and objects moving inside the plane. Hot drinks, food trays, or even personal items can also become hazards. A sudden bump can send coffee flying or knock luggage from overhead bins if not properly stowed. These risks are rare but preventable. So when flight crews insist you buckle up, they're not overreacting. They're protecting you from the small but real dangers turbulence can cause. The plane isn't going to fall apart, but your body isn't built to withstand being tossed around. Staying strapped in is the easiest way to stay safe. What you can do as a passenger. Although you can't prevent turbulence, you can make the experience more comfortable. The first step is choosing your seat wisely. Sitting over the wings offers the smoothest ride because it's the plane's center of gravity. By contrast, seats at the back of the aircraft feel bumpier, much like the back of a school bus. During the flight, keep your seatbelt fastened whenever you're seated. This simple habit protects you from sudden jolts. Avoid standing or walking when the plane feels unstable, and try not to carry hot drinks during turbulence. Staying hydrated also helps, as dry cabin air combined with stress can make the experience feel worse. Distraction is another powerful tool. Listening to music, watching a movie, or reading can take your mind off the bumps. Deep breathing exercises or focusing on something familiar can reduce anxiety. Limiting caffeine and alcohol can help too, since both can amplify feelings of nervousness. Most importantly, remind yourself that turbulence is routine. Pilots deal with it daily, and aircraft are designed to withstand it. With a little preparation and the right mindset, you can transform turbulence from something terrifying into just another part of the flying experience. Turbulence might feel dramatic, but it's far less dangerous than it seems. Planes are built for it, pilots are trained for it, and passengers can manage it. Next time your flight shakes, remember, you're safe. If you found this helpful, like, subscribe, and share. Your smooth journey starts with knowledge.